for the recording. Yay. All right. So remember, right, I got to get over to, logos have distinctive parts. There's the icon, the logo type, which creates the logo lockup, right? So you guys have all been working on your icon. That's what your sketches are about. And now you're going to create the lockup. So you're going to work on your sketches, bring them into Illustrator, create terrific vector art for your icon, and then add logo type, position them so they work together as a lockup, just like your Full Sail logo. Design is thinking made visible. Anybody know who said that? Yes, maybe, me, perhaps. No, it was Saul Bass. You've all studied Saul Bass, right? So just a refresher on Saul Bass. He was a 20th century designer. He did some wonderful movie posters and movie credits. One of the things that he brought to the party was, you know, if you think about it, this is from 1961. That movie posters then looked like kind of like the Star Wars poster original, like sort of airbrushy and three-dimensional and all that. He created this sort of very artsy, torn paper, um, ink stamp printing kind of feel that was really breakthrough at the time and has a unique style. And you see in all his posters how that works. He even advanced the profession of movie titles. But, you know, movie titles, there was no such thing as motion graphics. So people did movie titles. This is North by Northwest, which is from 1959. It was like very contemporary looking thing, right, for 1959. Yeah, it looks like something from our time because computers make it a lot easier to do this, and they didn't have computers back then. They were doing it by hand and making amazing things. He created this very artful, painterly, bringing more sort of abstract expressionism, fine art, all those things that were happening in the art world into graphic design. The Man with the Golden Arm. Cool design, right? A combination of photography and collage. Interesting. All right. He also did a lot of logos, and some of the major logos of the 20th century were done by Saul Bass, including Bell Telephone, the AT&T logo. This is the early iteration of the AT&T logo before the world that we saw the other day. Pan Am, I think that is, and the Girl Scouts, Lowry Spices, United Airlines, ADP, I want to say Continental, maybe, United Way, Warner Brothers. So he did some amazing stuff, and you see how iconic his logos became. So I'm going to show you a video done by Saul Bass as part of a pitch to the Bell Telephone Company before they were AT&T on changing their logo. And this is an old movie. It's from 1968. It's 16 millimeter film. It's a little scratchy and old and all that. And but he is trying to demonstrate to the very conservative leadership of AT&T, of Bell Telephone, that they should change their logo and why. And in the course of doing that, he explains some of the principles of how logos work and what makes a good logo, what makes a bad logo. Sounds important, right? So I want you to watch this video, think about some of the things he's saying about the structure of logos, how they work, how people recognize imagery and all that. So I'm going to play that. And my sound is not working, so hold on. Oh, I get it. It's because... All right. Let's go back one.
What should the Bell System's new look be? Consider the environment from the average person's point of view. Believe me, Jeremy. Believe me. This is the way many people see their world. It takes a bit to break through without being rude or irrelevant. We can break through and at the same time help unclutter the visual environment quietly with a look of excellence, beginning with the trademark. There are three basic categories of trademarks: the monogrammatic form, the logotype form, and the symbol logotype form. Each has its strengths and weaknesses. The monogrammatic form's strength is that it's simple, condensed, quickly identified. Its weakness: the viewer must first be taught what the letters stand for before they make sense. Otherwise, it blends into the environment as so much alphabet soup. The strength of the second category, the logotype form, is that the name of the company is itself the trademark, but it has a weakness. Keep the lettering easy to read and it gets lost in the typographic environment. Try to make it stand out by stylizing it and you lose legibility. To help solve this dilemma, some companies surround their logotypes with geometric shapes, but the shapes, being generic, can never be unique. The third category of trademarks, AT&T and the Bell companies use now, the symbol logotype form. It has several strengths. The symbol creates the uniqueness of the mark, so the lettering in the logotype can remain clear and easy to read. With an organization like ours, composed of many companies, the symbol becomes a flag, uniting the companies into a single organization. By itself, the logotype is just another word in a sea of words. But combined, the symbol serves as a focal point, directing attention to the name. This form of trademark has its weaknesses too, such as requiring the use of two elements, a symbol and a logotype. But all in all, it's right for the Bell system, except the present symbol of the bell needs updating. Go ahead. That's true. Yes. Yes. But what's this? You saw this apple. This apple. This apple. This apple. You saw 4 different apples, but you didn't notice they were different. And you were concentrating. You see, one of the apples has a small leaf. Another has a different stem. Another has a... Hello? Put any kind of a bell inside a circle, and people will recognize it as the Bell system. Watch. Different bells. You still see them as a bell. How up-to-date the system looks, however, depends upon the kind of bell. First, we looked at the words inside the bell. They didn't work. Couldn't read them much of the time. Further, they complicated the symbol. So we eliminated them. Next, we explored all possible bell forms, searching for the most up-to-date expression, emerging finally with a bell that has strength and impact, and above all, the look of today. forms can remain contemporary over long periods of time. We think this new bell is one of them. The Mercedes-Benz trademark, designed 85 years ago, remains contemporary today. Next, we looked at the logo type. We explored serif and sans serif letter forms and chose sans serif because of its contemporary look. We then tried altering letter forms to develop a distinctive style, but found the more unique we became, the harder it was to read. Our decision: keep it legible, as the bell symbol is unique enough to set the trademark apart. Member of the bell system is outside the bell, easier to read. We had our first signal. We had our second signal. Then, to further connect the bell system to today and break through the environment, we added a third signal. In the contemporary world, stripes have a message. They say competitive, competent, alert, dedicated. They say the things we, the bell system, actually are. These are our stripes. The stripes, combined with the logo type and the symbol, signal an organization on the move.
All right. So, what did you get out of that?
Keep it simple, keep it legible.
Keep it simple, keep it legible when it comes to your type. Yeah. You do want it to be distinctive, but you want people to be able to read the name of your company.
I like how you did the bell in the middle of all the other logos, so you can point it out really quickly.
Yeah, so he put the bell among other logos so you could see how it stands out. Yeah. So it's important to understand how people visually see things. You know, they're not scrutinizing every detail. They're trying to get it quickly, and that's what the logos are about. So,
I read something online like months and months ago in reference to logo design, that to support the fact that it needs to be simple, because the brain can only take in but so much visual information at one time.
yes, the brain can only take in, a certain amount, and that's where you want to go. So, let's look at some logos that I think are done well. This is Charles Anderson Company, which is up in Minneapolis. So, for instance, this logo here. You seen this? No. Okay, this one here. What's that for? The baseball player. Nike, right? Because you're seeing like a little Easter egg there. Wait, let me get it. Trying to find my cursor. All right. So anyway, one of the things Charles Anderson does, they work in black and white, which is what I want you to start with, and they do a great job making use of negative space to create part of the image. That's a great little trick because if you're only using black and white, you only have one color. You've got to figure out how to make it work, and that actually is a great process for simplifying your icon, making it very legible and clear for people. That's why if you work in color right from the start, you tend to create things that are more complex and perhaps not as recognizable. If you look at these symbols for Turner Classic Movies he did. So these went over video, so they had to be really clear, but there's just like two color, black and white, simple, and you pretty much get them right away, right? This next one is for a place called Custom Ink. What do you see in the picture, in the icon?
Octopus.
An octopus, yes,
Drops.
and drops of ink, right? So we all saw what a screen printer looks like. It looks kind of like an octopus, so it kind of makes sense, right? But the octopus is completely rendered in negative space. See how that works? It's really well done. And by the way, if you look in the lower right here, you can see that it's all just shape building. This isn't about being Leonardo da Vinci and being able to sketch a perfect, beautiful image. If you can use the circle tool, the ellipse tool in Illustrator, you could build this, right? So think simply. All right, here is a case study. Now, this is the before logo for St. Petersburg Clearwater. Uh, Anybody been to St. Petersburg Clearwater? Yes. What's it like, Hope? Nice, right? Beautiful beaches. It's some of the best beaches in the world. I truly believe that, having been in a small part of the world. But I've been to the Caribbean and to Europe, and I still think St. Pete Beach is the nicest place I've been to. This logo has some flaws in it. First of all, St. Petersburg Clearwater is a long name. Like, that's just a lot of words to deal with. Sun and waves, yes, but they're kind of anemic. They're thin. It doesn't really work that well. So they handed it over to the folks at Pentagram, and Michael Beirut was the designer in charge, and this is the icon he came up with. So this is much more strong and bold. What do you see in the imagery? Waves, yes. Wind, yes. Does anybody see SPC?
Yes.
Yes, it's like a little Easter egg. St. Petersburg Clearwater. It's fun. It has a great, consistent feeling to it. So here's how I used it as a logo. So type in the ring around the icon. Did I say that was a good idea to do? No. So why is he doing that? Well, here's the thing. Michael Beirut is a fantastic designer. And so what he did is he came up with two versions of the logo. One like this for large usage, when it's really big. And then another one like this for small usage, which is much more like what you're doing. This has a lot more flexibility. But because Pentagram is a master design company, they're able to implement a dual logo like that. I don't recommend it for you guys. So, but that shows you how it works. Like, you see how the icon is powerful. It stands out in the environment. It has a lot of flexibility. And here you see in the letterhead, the logo has to be quite large on that letterhead for it to be legible, which is fine. It works there. But on the business card, where it's much smaller, it uses the other logo because it wouldn't be, the type would not be legible otherwise. Here's another Pentagram project. What do you see in the icon? FWM, yes, Fort Worth Museum, which the initials, but they're done in a playful, fun way, a little bit of abstract. This is actually a children's museum, and Michael Beirut said that they were not allowed to say the F word, meaning fun. They were supposed to be very serious, but really conveying fun to kids and stuff. So here's how it got implemented. You see how that is a playful, wonderful color that works on a banner. On they actually made little hats out of it for kids, toys. It works at the bottom of an ad. It's distinctive. It's a focal point. That's how an icon should work. In this Lure logo, Lure is a local company here that's nationally recognized. Jeff Matz runs this place, and you see how this icon becomes sort of a focal point, draws your attention, and the type is pretty straightforward and just really conveys the name of the company. This is another one by Lure Beetle, and in this one, the logo looks like they make beaded jewelry for charity. So the logo looks like that. And then the type underneath is clear and legible, but it has a little bit of a finesse to it that relates to the icon, right? This is a Mexican restaurant. Again, an icon that becomes a focal point, draws you in, and the type is very clear and legible. This is a company called 3B that they do logos. They're a design agency. See their logo up in the corner, the 3B? So what do you see in the icon here for Dixon's Apple Orchard? A bear, yes. It's a tree, but it's a bear. It's two images at once. It creates a little bit of a joke, of a little fun playfulness to it, some wit, and that draws you in and makes it memorable. The type is fairly straightforward, but does have some relation to it. In fact, for the apostrophe, they used a little leaf from the tree. Skarsgård Construction, another interesting icon to sort of draw your attention, right? And it looks very bold and tough and kind of what they want, right? Latitudes. So what's the image? An orange and the globe, right? Combined. Again, combining two images to create something of interest. The type has some relationship to it. It's kind of at an angle, it's similar to the angle of the globe, so it functions that way really well as an icon logo lockup. This is for seaweed snacks. Gimme Organic. This is von Glitzka, his work. And so his turtle, yes, of course you do, Hope. His turtle has a lot of personality, right? He looks playful, he looks happy. Two colors, really this could work in black and white very simply. Negative space to create the little ribs on his shell. He's just got enough personality, but clear and simple, right? This is the brilliance of von Glitzka. So yeah, there's his logo. So there they are, seaweed snacks, yum. Probably they come in wasabi too. I should come up with that. All right, now I'm going to show you something that sort of breaks the rules a little bit. This is von Glitzka's Tommyknocker. So von Glitzka is a master at creating at vector art, and he creates his own fonts. So he created his own type-driven logo. So Jeremy, this is like where you're going with your YOLO. So creating his own type. Now the icon, so Tommyknocker, it's a minor, obviously. The icon, he works in a very specific way, which is he'll do symmetrical, he'll figure this is symmetrical. So he'll pen tool out half the face and flip it, right? But then he makes sure and bends a couple of things to make it asymmetrical, give it a little interest. It's kind of a fun way to work, and it actually is quite effective. I think that works well as a shirt. Now the type isn't as legible, but it's definitely distinctive and it sort of draws you in. Remember, you're trying to be distinctive and memorable and spark people's imagination with your logo. This one, what do you see? Yes, the wine bottle is completely rendered in negative space. It's like not really there at all. You see a snake, and the name of the product is the Naked Grape. What comes to mind when you see that, the naked grape in that image? The Garden of Eden, yes. It doesn't say Adam and Eve or anything like that, but just in your brain, you sort of connect the dots, and that makes it memorable. The naked grape, it's just kind of fun, and even though there's a bottle on a bottle, it's in the negative space. So here is another one from von Glitzka, Big Ass Fans. So the company comes to you, they say, our name is Big Ass Fans, can you make us a logo? So of course it's got to be a donkey, right? But not just any donkey, he's got to render it from a particular angle so that it looks right.
You know how hard it is actually?
Yeah, this is a level of difficulty, and I think that the rendering is so amazing because the negative space is used so effectively. Again, using that negative space to create the image. And what do they make? They make Big Ass Fans, right? Mm-hmm. So as you move forward from your sketches, you're still working on your sketches, most of you today, so you're going to keep working on your sketches. When you get to good sketches, you're going to bring them into Illustrator and try to render them with the effectiveness and power and boldness and using negative space and all the things that we just looked at, right? And once you get to that, you're going to post those things and we're going to give you critique. I'm going to end this recording. Hold on. All right. There we go.
Hi, Internet people.
Bye. There's no one there.